along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cane is loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
So find a Venus smoothie.
More weight than dieting on your own. Enjoy more than 100 ready-to-go premium meals and snacks.
It was the perfect balance of great taste and weight loss.
Call now to get $50 in free food.
When it's time to get serious, it's time for Jenny Craig.
Call now and lose 15 pounds for $15, plus $50 in free food and free shipping. Hurry, this offer won't last long.
We're on to you, diabetes. Time's up insufficient prenatal care. And administrative paperwork, your days of drowning people are numbered. Same goes for you, budget overruns. And rising costs. Wipe that smile off your face. We're coming for you too. For those who won't rest until the world is healthier, neither will we. Optum, how well gets done.
Welcome back. Happening right now, new information on some crime stories that we're watching for you. A triple murder trial beginning for the Florida man accused of killing his wife, his neighbor, and his pastor. And his defense attorney says he does not plan to argue that his client did not commit the killings, but that he was legally insane at the time. And now to Maryland, where an inmate who managed to
It's too far. We're almost there. We're almost there.
and gentlemen, please welcome the National President of the Fraternal Order
of Police, Mr. Chuck Canterbury, the Vice President of the United States, and the President of the United States.
Colors, present, arms. Detail, colors, attend. Colors, right shoulder, arms. Ready, cut. Honor guard, colors, present, arms.
Please remain standing for the advancement of the colors by the United States Capitol Police, and then remain standing for our national anthem, which will be performed by Lieutenant Daniel Rodriguez, retired police officer from New York City Police Department.
Cut.
Please remain standing for the advancement of the colors by the United States Capitol Police, and then remain standing for our national anthem, which will be performed by Lieutenant Daniel Rodriguez, retired police officer from New York City Police Department.
Colors, honor guard, present, arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the pearly light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed that star-spangled banner yet waved o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Honor guard, detail. Right shoulder, order, arms. Ready, cut.
I will now call on Phil Wiggins, chaplain of the National FOP, who will deliver the invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we thank you for your presence here today. Father, I love you, and on behalf of this grateful nation, we are thankful for this day that has been designated as the day to honor the men and women in law enforcement that made that ultimate sacrifice and others that were seriously injured performing their duties. As we on stage look over the families and friends and co-workers that are here grieving and hurting, we ask that your Holy Spirit bring comfort and peace to those that mourn today. Your word tells us in the psalm that even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We pray that you guide us as a nation, that we humble ourselves and pray and seek your face and turn from our wicked ways. Then will you hear from heaven and forgive our sin and heal our land. Father, we pray too today for the President of our great nation, President Donald Trump, and his family, and the national leaders, and our National FOP President, Chet Canterbury, and also the FOP Executive Board, as we continue to work toward a better and safer law enforcement across this country. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Colors, honor guard. Right shoulder, arms. Colors, order, arms. Parade, rest.
Please be seated. It is indeed my honor and privilege to welcome all of you, my fellow officers, our law enforcement families, and our distinguished guests to this 36th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service. I would like to begin this morning by introducing our guests who have joined us on the dais this year. Beginning on my right, please welcome Frank Larkin, the Senate Sergeant at Arms. Next to him, I have Craig Floyd, Chairman of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. And Ms. Brenda Donner, Concerns of Police Survivors President. We have the architect of the Capitol with us, Stephen Ayers. Thank you. And a very special welcome to our chief of our host agency, Matt Verderosa of the U.S. Capitol Police. We're very pleased to have with us this year Tom Snapanakis, the president of the Canadian Police Association and the chairman of the International Council of Police Representative Associations, representing over 3 million police officers in the world. Thank you, Tom. Please welcome Pete Marino, Chief Public Affairs and Communication Officers for Miller Coors, one of our most corporate and long-term generous partners. Thank you. Next, we're very pleased to have with us today Ms. Kelly Pickler, who will perform in just a few minutes. Thank you. We're extremely pleased to have with us again the Minority Whip of the U.S. House of Representatives, Steny Hoyer. Thank you, Mr. Hoyer. We are also joined by the Acting Director of the U.S. Marshal Service, David Harlow. Linda Henney, the National President of the FOP Auxiliary, is with us, and she'll be welcoming you to the service in a few minutes. Turning now to my far left, please welcome Paul Irving, the Sergeant at Arms from the United States House of Representatives. Next, it's an honor to have Tom Homan, Acting Director for U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Pleased to have Acting Commissioner for Customs and Border Protection, Kevin McCallum, and Tom Brandon from ATF with us today. Sadly, all of these agencies lost officers in the line of duty in 2016. We're very fortunate to have with us Tom Bossert, Assistant to the President for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism, who is joining us for what I believe is his first memorial service. Thank you for being here. It's indeed an honor to welcome our good friend Elaine Chao, Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation. She's attended many of these services and delivered the keynote address at one of these events. Welcome back, Madam Secretary. We also like to welcome another longtime friend of the FOP, Labor Secretary Alex Acosta. Thank you for coming, Alex. Please welcome your Homeland Security Secretary, John Kelly, who is attending our service for the first time. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I'm also very grateful and honored to welcome the U.S. Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. You've always been a friend of law enforcement when you were a senator, and I'm sure you'll continue as our Attorney General. Thank you. I'm very honored to welcome to this event the Vice President of the United States, Michael Pence. President Henney will be introducing the Vice President for comments in a few moments. And finally, it's my great honor and privilege to have with us the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, brothers and sisters of law enforcement, family and friends of our fallen heroes. Welcome to the 36th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service. In 1962, Congress authorized President John F. Kennedy to proclaim May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day, a day in which to honor the brave law enforcement officers who proudly wore the uniform, who daily served their communities in which they lived and worked, and who ultimately made the supreme sacrifice in performance of their duties. The proclamation was signed October 1st, 1962. 20 years later, on May 15th, 1982, the first National Peace Officers Memorial Service was held in Senate Park, honoring 91 law enforcement officers from around the country who had given their lives in the line of duty. Today, we honor 234 officers as their families, friends, and co-workers gather in this place to celebrate the memory of those whose lives were taken in an instant while serving and protecting the citizens of our great nation. Honor is not a word the law enforcement community takes lightly. It's about character. It's about stuff you're made of, the code you live by. Honor is a way of being. The courageous heroes we honor here today could not fake their commitment to the citizens of their community. They took seriously their obligation and responsibility to serve and protect. While we honor these 234 officers for the hero we knew them to be, the loved ones, the friends and co-workers are remembering them for the person they were. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but love leaves a memory that no one can steal. President Calvin Coolidge once stated, "No person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been for the reward for what he gave." These 234 brave men and women gave their all. They laid down their life to protect and serve the family, friends, and co-workers and public who are here today to honor them. May our heroes rest in peace. May God bless the families they leave behind. May God watch over the officers protecting our streets and communities today. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. I am honored to have the opportunity to introduce our next speaker. Mike Pence spent nearly a decade as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. As a member of the Committee on the Judiciary, he was not only a key supporter of law enforcement officers, but was also a champion for law enforcement families. His commitment to keeping his fellow citizens safe led to his being elected as the governor of Indiana in 2012. Now, of course, he serves in an even greater role. So please help me welcome the 48th Vice President of the United States, Michael R. Pence.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Mr. President, members of the Cabinet, members of Congress, honored guests and dignitaries, members of the law enforcement community, and the precious families of our fallen. It is National Police Week. And on behalf of the President of the United States of America, today it is my privilege to welcome so many courageous men and women of law enforcement, and especially the families of the fallen who are gathered here to mark the 36th National Peace Officers Memorial Service. To the leadership of the Fraternal Order of Police, to all those who stand on the thin blue line of our law enforcement community, police, sheriffs, detectives, deputies, to all who have traveled from near and far to join in this hallowed annual ceremony. We are honored by your presence, and our nation's capital is better for you being here. Every day, each one of you walks out the door of your homes to protect and serve our families at the risk of not returning to yours. And today, be assured, you have the gratitude of your president, this entire administration, and national government, and you have the gratitude of every American. As we acknowledge your service, we gather to honor the sacrifice, and we trust to comfort the families of members of our law enforcement community who lost their lives in the line of duty. It's said that no greater love has a man than this, that he should lay down his life for his friends. It's also said that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and that's our prayer for each of you today. Sacrifice and memory is what brings us to this place every year. 1962, President John F. Kennedy declared this day as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and this week around the country will be National Police Week. And every year since 1982, members of our law enforcement community, their families and friends have gathered on this day in Washington, D.C. to mourn the fallen and remember their heroism through this memorial service. The men and women we remember today came from all across America and served at every level of law enforcement. We mourn with those who mourn. We grieve with those who grieve. But we do not grieve like the rest who have no hope, because heroes give us hope. The tens of thousands who stand here today continue a tradition of honoring you heroes of our law enforcement communities across America, in cities large and small. And I'm confident to say, as I saw last year on the streets of Howard County, Indiana, where thousands spontaneously poured forth to line the streets to pay a solemn tribute to the late Sheriff Deputy Carl Coons, I'm confident today that millions of Americans stand with us in spirit and are breathing a silent prayer for your service and your families. We honor the memory of our heroic fallen in tributes like this across this nation all this week. But we also honor their sacrifice by ensuring that those who protect and serve have the support and the resources and the training that the men and women of law enforcement deserve. As those in uniform across this country already know, President Trump's highest priority is the safety and security of the American people. This president knows in his heart that to make America safe again, we must also restore the tradition of respect and honor that is owed to every member of the law enforcement community in America. President Trump stands with the men and women of law enforcement without apology, and he always will. On this National Police Week, may God himself comfort the families of the fallen, here and those looking on. May God bless each of you as you protect and serve, and may God bless the United States of America.
Please join me in welcoming Kelly Pickler, who will perform one of her songs.
When troubles weigh, I hear you call. see it come. You never stay, you never gone. I run to you, my wailing one. I run to you, my wailing one. God bless you. Thank you so much.
As president of the National FOP, it's my honor, on behalf of the 332,000 members, to welcome you to this 36th Annual Peace Officers Memorial Service. We are here today on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol, an iconic symbol known around the world as the seat of our government. There is no more fitting location than our Capitol to honor our heroes. In a few minutes, we'll hear comments from the President, but I just want to acknowledge him as he, in his short time in office, has let America know that our law enforcement officers are important and that their lives matter, and that we need to protect them as much as possible. Thank you, Mr. President. Harry Truman once said, "America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand." I submit to you that the heroes we are here today to honor understood that determination, and they performed the job at hand. They did not perform their duty for praise. They did not perform their duty for admiration, nor did they perform their duty to earn the title hero. They did their jobs because that is what we do as America's law enforcement officers and what we're called to do. That is why we call them heroes. For answering the call to do a heroic act without regard for their safety, the men and women that we honor would be the last to use the word hero. They would just use the word cop. Law enforcement officers recognize that the safety and preservation of peace are necessary for the people to have pursuit of happiness, life, and liberty. These heroes would all say that their most proud moment was when they swore an oath to serve and protect, and that they took that as their most important task. President Abraham Lincoln once said, "I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end." These officers did just that. They did their best until the end. The memories that we as loved ones have for them will last forever, and the contribution they made to our great country will never be forgotten. Their names are not only engraved on the National Peace Officers Memorial Wall, they are engraved on the fabric of America and in our hearts. To you, the survivors, I say that our thoughts and prayers are always with you. Our resolve to go on is made stronger by knowing that while we have your backs, you have ours. You will always be advocates for your law enforcement family, and we count on you to provide your prayers and your well wishes to us as we go about performing our duty. The thin blue line will never be broken, and the memory of your loved ones will remain in our hearts forever. God bless you, the families of all of our heroes, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. I now feel like the luckiest police officer in the history of this country because it's my honor to introduce our next speaker. Mr. President, it's a great privilege to honor and to have you here to honor the families of our fallen heroes. It has been a difficult time for law enforcement in our country, as you know. More officers are being targeted for violence simply because of their uniform. In pledging to serve and protect, they willingly place themselves in harm's way. But now, all too often, harm is seeking them out, and they find themselves in the crosshairs of individuals consumed with hatred for police and who are determined to kill them. Mr. President, on the campaign trail, you often spoke of your support for law enforcement officers, and you made a commitment to help us make America and our officers on the beat safe again. In your first days of office, you began to deliver on that promise, demonstrating that you'll be a partner and not a critic of our nation's law enforcement officers. Every officer needs a partner on the beat. Mr. President, we see you as that partner in the years to come. We appreciate your leadership, and we are so very grateful to have you with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please help me welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, everybody. Wow. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Chuck. That was so nice. That was above and beyond. That's the way I'm going to be with you, too. And it's a great honor. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to address America's heroes on this most solemn occasion. Words cannot express the depths of our gratitude, but I hope that our actions will show you how deeply we care and how strongly we feel about protecting those who protect us. America stands strong with our men and women in blue. Believe me, we stand strong together. I want to recognize Jim Pasco, Linda Henney, Chaplain Wiggins, and everyone at the Fraternal Order of Police for all that you do to protect the law enforcement of this country and all of our communities. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. As long as I'm president, you will always find an open door to the White House. And you've already found it, believe me. Mr. Vice President, Cabinet Secretaries, and members of Congress, we are gathered here today at the U.S. Capitol to pay tribute to those brave law enforcement officers who gave their lives in the line of duty. On this police officers' Memorial Day, we thank God for having blessed so many of us with such incredible heroes, and we pledge our solidarity with their families and loved ones, and many of those great families and survivors are here with us today, and I'd love you to stand up. Families and survivors, what great, incredible people. And your loved ones are looking down on you right now, believe me, and they're very proud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Whatever you need, we are here for you, and we are praying for you. As I look out today at this amazing assembly of police, detectives, marshals, and sheriffs, I want to make all of you remember and heed this promise. I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement as much as you have always supported me. And you did. Big league. Your presence here reminds us all of what is at stake on this sacred day of remembrance. Each May during Police Week, new names of fallen police officers are added to the National Law Enforcement Memorial. This year, 394 brave souls joined the over 20,000 men and women who gave up their lives in the line of duty to protect us. The names of these heroes are not only carved into that wall, but carved into the hearts of the American people. And by the way, the American people love you more than you will ever know. I can tell you that. Though your loved ones left us much too soon, the memory of their courage will live on forever. To see so many names together is to gain only a small glimpse of the debt America owes to those who protect our cities and police on our streets. We are privileged this morning to be joined by families of the fallen, to whom we owe that ultimate loyalty. So many people, even back here. Please know that you do not grieve alone. Though we cannot fathom the depths of your loss, nor fully appreciate the bond that forms in the precinct and between partners on the beat, your sadness is left and felt by all of us. Every drop of blood spilled from our heroes in blue is a wound inflicted upon the whole country. And every heartache known by your families in law enforcement is a sorrow shared by the entire family of the American nation. No one asked these selfless men and women to enlist in this righteous cause or to enroll as foot soldiers in the eternal struggle against crime and violence. They joined the cause because their hearts were big and full of amazing courage. They joined because they cared so deeply for the innocent and helpless and forgotten. They put on the uniform because they believed to the very core of their souls that it was their mission in life to serve and to protect. As the Bible tells us, there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. The names and stories on that wall are each a testament to this pure and unselfish love. And that's what it is, pure and unselfish love. And it is our duty as a people and as a nation to prove worthy of their sacrifice. And that begins with showing our police the appreciation they have earned 1,000 times over. Living in New York, I gained a deep appreciation and lasting admiration for law enforcement. Thousands of people are living and enjoying life today in New York who otherwise would be gone because our great police fought to bring safety to our streets and our communities. The entire world witnessed the heroism of New York's finest when they gave their lives on 9/11. I was there and sacrificed so much in that brutal, horrible aftermath. Now, as president, my highest duty is to keep America safe. We will keep America safe. And included in safe means safe from crimes, safe from terrorism, and safe from all enemies, foreign and domestic. At the center of that duty is the requirement to ensure that our law enforcement personnel are given the tools and resources they need to do their jobs and to come home to their families safely. You are the thin blue line between civilization and chaos. You come from every community and all walks of life. You are mothers and fathers and sons and daughters. You rush into unknown danger, risking your lives for people you have never met, people you don't know, performing your duty under the most difficult conditions, and often without any thanks at all. Because you do not hear nearly enough. I want you to know that patriotic Americans of all backgrounds truly support and love our police. And a very sad thing is that many of today's politicians don't want to say that, don't want to talk about that, because it's not politically correct, or they think it might hurt them with the voters. I will say it, and I will talk about it proudly. I will make it the personal priority of my administration to ensure that our police are finally treated fairly, with honor and respect that they deserve. To all Americans watching this event today, next time you see a cop on the beat, take a moment to say two wonderful words which they so readily deserve. Thank you. Thank you. As you all know, much too well, we are living through an era in which our police have been subject to unfair defamation and vilification, and even, really, I mean, you see what's going on. You see what's going on. Even worse, hostility and violence. More officers were slain last year in ambushes than in any year in more than 2 decades, including, and that's so incredible to even have to be speaking about this, the beloved officers killed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in yet another murderous attack of law enforcement. And we have some of those incredible families and survivors with us. Thank you. The attacks on our police are a stain on the very fabric of our society, and you are entitled to leadership at the highest level that will draw a bright line in the sand, not a red line in the sand that isn't gone over, but a bright line in the sand, and we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough. The attacks on our police must end, and they must end right now. And just to show you, by the way, how much I love our police, I said, oh, I'm going to need a hat because it's so windy today. I said, when I get out of here, there's no way I'm going to put on this hat. So we'll leave off the hat. And this is for you, Micah. That's for our beautiful Micah down there. We must also end the reckless words of incitement that give rise to danger and give rise to violence. It is time to work with our cops, not against them, but to support them in making our streets safe, not to obstruct them, which we're doing. We obstruct them. It is time for all Americans from all parties and beliefs to join together in a simple goal to ensure that every child in America has the right to grow up in safety, security, and peace. True social justice means a future where every child in every neighborhood can play outside without fear, can walk home safely from school, and can live out the beautiful dreams that fill their heart. Like you, Micah. Freedom includes the right to be free, and I mean totally free from crime and from violence. MS-13 is going to be gone from our streets very soon, believe me. These two guys. When policing is reduced, it's often the poorest and most vulnerable Americans who are the first to suffer. We have all seen the tragic rise in violence and crimes in many of our disadvantaged communities. We've seen the unbearable horror of the shortcomings in Baltimore and Chicago that have cut short so many lives and so many beautiful, beautiful dreams. We cannot stand for such violence. We cannot tolerate such pain. We cannot, under any circumstances, any longer turn a blind eye to this suffering that's going on any longer, and we won't. It's time for a grateful nation to join hands with our police and with our sheriffs to build the bridges of cooperation and trust and to make our streets safer for every man, woman, and child in America. And someday, many of the young children you are protecting will decide that they too want to be police officers, that they too want to be sheriffs. They want to be cops. They want to be cops. They want to protect people because they love people. And that's what they're going to do, and they're going to do it well. They're going to be great at it. As we seek this better and brighter future, we do so in the memory of these brave but gentle souls who were stolen from this world when they had so much left to share and to give, not only to us, but to their incredible families. Among them were Patrolman Justin Martin and Sergeant Tony Berminio, who were murdered last November. Patrolman Martin was on the beat for less than a year and leaves a beautiful, loving mom and dad, Randy and Jane. And thank you, Randy and Jane. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sergeant Berminio was a veteran of 11 years and leaves behind his wife, Zoe, and his wonderful children, Cameron, Haley, and Maddox. Ashley Gwindon of the Prince William County Police fell in the line of duty on her very first day on the beat. She swore the oath to protect and serve only a day prior to her death, one day. Officer Gwindon was dedicated to serving our nation. She also served in the Marines, and today our thoughts are with her and her incredible mother, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. I also had the privilege to meet at the White House just a little while ago with representatives from the Phoenix Police Department, New Jersey State Troopers, and the Ulster County Sheriff's Department, who are mourning the deaths of State Trooper Frankie Williams and Sergeant Curry Winters. I had the chance to spend time with Officer Lasser's beautiful family, his wife, Kristen, and his 6-year-old son, Micah, who has my hat, and he's now with us. Micah, stand up. Kristen, please stand up. Great people. Kristen and Mike, I know your beloved husband and father is looking down on you right now from heaven, and he is so proud of you both, and thank you very much. Thank you. We also remember those incredible heroes who were so cruelly targeted for execution in Dallas, Texas, rushing into a hail of gunfire, never to return. Dallas Police Sergeant Michael Smith was a 27-year veteran of the Dallas Police. He was decorated a law enforcement officer at the highest level, and even paid his own way to attend advanced training sessions. He leaves behind his cherished wife, Heidi, and his loving daughters, Victoria and Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Last Friday in Kirkersville, Ohio, a gunman shot and killed Stephen Eric Desario. He was the chief of the Kirkersville Police Department. He died responding to a hostage situation at a local nursing home. Chief Desario leaves behind 6 children and his wife, who is expecting another child. Our hearts break for the chief's family. We love you all. We love you all. Thank you. To every child in America who has lost a mom or a dad in the line of duty, I want you to know your parents are American heroes. American heroes. They died keeping us safe. They are the pride of our nation, and we will hold them in our hearts always and forever. Their sacrifice will never, ever be forgotten. To everyone in the audience here today, I want you to know that my administration is determined, totally determined, to restore law and order and justice for all Americans, and we're going to do it quickly. And that is why I'm so proud to be here today with Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Homeland Security Director John Kelly, 2 men who are deeply committed to the rule of law, to the rank-and-file officers who enforce it, and to bringing the violent criminals, drug dealers, and gang members to justice, and I mean bring them to justice quickly. Thank you very much for being here. All of you at this ceremony, the men and women who police the streets or who send our loved ones to work with a really very, very sometimes worried or heavy heart. Every single day you do that. You've seen and you've heard things that no one else should ever have to see or hear. You bear this burden on our behalf. You have witnessed the evil of those who derive pleasure from inflicting pain on the innocent. You've seen a lot of that, more recently than maybe ever before. It's going to stop. And you've watched great, great people suffer unthinkable harm and unthinkable death. America as a nation must always have the clarity to know the difference between good and evil, between right and wrong, and between those who uphold our laws and those who so easily break them. We owe it to the fallen to act according to our best and highest ideals. We owe it to their memory to put truth before politics, justice before agendas, and to put the safety and security of the American people above everything else. And we owe it to them to build a better future for all of America's wonderful children. May today be the beginning of a new era of respect and appreciation for law enforcement. May this ceremony bring new hope to those in search of healing, harmony, and peace. May Americans learn from the example of the heroes we have lost and always remember to trust each other, work with each other, and love each other. And finally, and so importantly, may God bless you, may God bless our police, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.